Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Join us for our show on Blog Talk Radio. Discover your spiritual gifts live.
Welcome to Discover Your Spiritual Gifts Live. This is show number 5. We are your hosts, Dave,
Violet,
and Jason.
Our guest today is Brenda Hardwick, author and also teacher and practitioner of Seraphic Wisdom. Brenda is also a health coach, laughter yoga leader, and shamanic Reiki master. Welcome, Brenda. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
we'd love to have you, Brenda. Talk to us a little bit about your books, because you're an author, and that's so exciting. People love to understand the process, and you know, what got you started writing books, and what books do you have?
Okay, well, I started writing actually when I was like 10, 11. I wrote a poem that got stolen. I read it. I recited it at a Christmas program, 3rd grade, so however old 3rd grade is, I don't remember. And a year later, I saw it in a book of children's Christmas poems. And my dad taught me how to do a soft copyright at that point, because he said, there's nothing we can do. And I said, well, that's never happening to me again. And so I had a couple of things published in the Denver Public Library when I was in high school. They did, it was called The Tomato, and they used it to encourage, high school kids to write. I've always intended to write a book, and I actually started Harlem Angel, which is my first novel, 26 years ago now. And I started it and stopped it and started it and stopped it, and it 5 years ago, I decided, you know what, I'm going to finish the doggone book. So I did. And then I published it. And I did what's called assisted self-publishing. That's a whole journey that I am very happy to speak with folks about. And in fact, we'll be doing that here at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts in March. Because the publishing industry is very closed-mouthed. If you're new, you're not, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know who to ask. And everyone I asked was in the same boat that I was. They didn't know either. So it was an experience, a very interesting learning experience. But Harlem Angel is book 1 of The Circle, and it's a fantasy. The heroine, Soraya, is a young African-American girl who has always had nightmares, and she's blown them off as just bad dreams until this one, because in this one she witnesses a murder. And in the course of her mother sending her to see the old lady that she and her friends used to call a witch when they were kids, she finds out that magic is real, that she is gifted, and she has lives to save. So I hope you want to read it.
It sounds exciting.
Sounds good.
I'm working on book 2. I'm hoping to have it, I'd like to have it published by the end of April, because I'm going to have a table. I'm sharing a table at Comic-Con. Yay! So yes.
Get it, girl.
So I'm hoping to have both books there. So the other book that I have out is a self-help book. It's called Laughing Your Life Healthy, and it that was my first go into the publishing world, and I did that one all by myself, so it didn't cost me much, and I made back what I did cost in the first few months just selling it out of my trunk. It's a little bit of me and a little bit of health coaching information, because that's part of what I do as a healer. I realize that people don't laugh. Everyone thinks they do, but most people don't laugh enough. And laughter is very healthy. It's very healthy for you to do, and there needs to be more of it. I mean, if we all laughed more, we wouldn't have to worry about wars and all that kind of stuff. It just because it wouldn't happen. And laughter raises your endorphin levels, and endorphins fight off pain. It raises your serotonin levels, which helps you sleep. It raises your emotional intelligence, which helps you keep stupid things from coming out of your mouth. Among other things. But laughter is just a wonderful addition to everyone's lives. And one of the things I try to do is help people laugh more. So one of the other things I do at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts is I hold laughter yoga sessions every second Saturday at 3. Yeah.
We love to hear you laugh in the center. I mean, it is contagious. Because even if we're not in the room, we can hear you throughout the center, and it makes all of us giggle and laugh when you're here. So it's really kind of beautiful. And, I've had people say, I don't know that I would go in there and laugh, which is sad, right? That we have those things that we face, but they love to hear it from the outside and kind of join you on on the bench. They're bench watchers.
They're bench watchers. Bench laughers.
Bench cacklers. Bench cacklers.
Well, you make me think when you say laughter can make you more sharp, and I was going to say, well, those of you out there who aren't laughing, you know who you are, but maybe you don't.
Maybe they don't. It's possible.
You're taking life as a blunt instrument.
If this comment doesn't make sense to you, you need Brenda's class.
At least the book.
At least the book.
And where can you get the first book, Brenda?
You
Laughing
can,
Laughing Your Life Healthy.
Laughing Your Life Healthy is actually available here at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. And so, Vialet has several copies here for sale.
And I think you signed them.
I did sign them. Yes, I did. So you buy it with the autograph in place. Laughter is one of those things that, if you ever think about it, why do people go to Facebook and YouTube and they watch funny dog videos and funny cat baby videos and all the videos with babies laughing? Because it makes you laugh. Because it makes you feel good. Yeah. I'd rather laugh till I'm crying than cry. Because crying messes up all the plumbing and your makeup, and laughing might do that too, but it doesn't seem to bother you as much.
Put you in a happy space as you laugh. Right?
Yes.
I love your laughing. And what was the saying that you say over and over again in your laughter sessions that we've all gotten stuck in our heads?
Well, it's laughter yoga was actually started by an Indian doctor, Dr. Madan Kataria, and part of the sequence in the exercises is at the end of every one you say very good, yay. And that's the one thing that anybody that takes the session remembers.
I know Jason and I have all said it. Very good, yay!
When I was doing the video for you and doing the editing, and Tracy heard that at home,
yes,
she said, play that again, because they do it at her office.
Oh, God.
They're
Really
very good. Yay! They do it at the office, and she's like, oh, that's so cool. I know where that came from. I know what that is.
It is a signature thing.
It gets the message across, though, right?
It does.
You've got to have kind of that hook.
Yes.
You got to have that hook a little bit.
Yes.
One of the things I really enjoyed about filming for you was, I'm showing up and wanting to focus on getting the right shot and all of that, and I walk into this room of people laughing, and you can't help but get caught up in it. It was immediate, and it hits you really deep, right? And what was neat about it too was that you're making yourself laugh.
Yes.
Right? You're making a choice to create laughter, which it's kind of like going to sleep, right? Before you go to sleep, you fake it. You lay down, you close your eyes, and you act like you're asleep so you can fall asleep, right? That's how you go to sleep. You think about it. But the laughter yoga is the same way.
Yes.
And it absolutely crescendos into, that belly laugh. And even just being on the outskirts of it and watching it and seeing how it helped people in that moment, right, in that setting was really powerful. So it was fun. It was fun.
Oh,
it's infectious for sure.
Yes.
In a good way.
In a good way.
Not that I need a topical solution.
No.
But people think that they don't really need that, and they do. I mean,
Yes.
if you've had a hard day, a hard week, if you've had a lot happening in your life, if you're down, laughter brings your energy up, your vibration
Yes.
up, brings, everything to life. And it's just a really good practice.
Yes.
And really good to kind of commit to that, because it's healing. It's so
Absolutely.
healing and releasing, and people don't realize how powerful, that is for their lives. And
Laughter is one of the things that you can use to align your own chakras. It's one of the few things that will do that you don't need anybody's help for. And people don't know that. They don't realize that. But when you do have a big belly laugh, one of those that makes you double over and makes your stomach hurt, or you've got tears streaming, it aligns you on top of all of the other things, the raising of the serotonin and the endorphins. It's been proven time and time again that it makes a difference in positive living and healthy living. So I'm very happy that I'm able to spread it.
well, we love it here. I don't understand why more people don't come and enjoy that, because it's an awesome way to bring your friends, your family.
Yes.
Come and kind of do that. It's a great break in the weekend to just come and laugh, because it's only like an hour long.
Yep.
And just come and kind of laugh and reset yourself. So
Absolutely.
I wish more and more people would do that. I think it's awesome.
Maybe we'll get more folks after they hear this.
That's right. Come laugh with us.
Come laugh with us.
We love to laugh. We need more laughter out
Yes.
there.
I think you see that in the popular stuff too. It seems like the movies, whether they're animated or kids' movies or whatever, the ones that are humorous and funny, draw more audiences.
Yes.
They go to be entertained more
Yes.
than they go to get a serious social message and walk out of there pondering their lives and their existential future.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a lot to be said for seeing the classic comedies.
Absolutely.
Wasn't it Bernie Siegel who really popularized, essentially Laugh Yourself Healthy, basically for the cancer people
Yes.
and others in serious illness, and said, go home and watch comedy after comedy and really rejuvenate your health.
Yeah, it makes a difference, and if you are suffering from any like chronic pain or anything like that, just laughing makes a difference. And the exercises that I teach in the laughter sessions, there are those that can be used to get yourself back to sleep at night. There are those that can help when you are really under stress. And I've used them myself, after a really stressful day. I can remember, in dealing with publishing Harlem Angel, I just had one day where there was so much happening that I felt like I needed to be 3 people in order to answer all the questions, get everything done, and then be able to just be me for a minute. And I was standing in my dining room, and I just threw my head back and just laughed. My dog stopped and looked at me like, what's going on? But it released so much, and I was able to sit down and concentrate on what I needed to do and to prioritize it, because at the time it was just overwhelming. And laughter just makes a difference. You can use it in so many ways. Yeah.
Very awesome. Awesome. I don't think we laugh enough. That is true.
Yeah. Little kids do.
Yeah, one of the classic movies on there with the life story was Patch Adams.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll take it as somewhat true from the movie that they actually do lower the need for painkillers and things
Absolutely.
in people who get laughter in hospitals.
Yes.
Get their mind off of their own issues.
It's catching on. There's laughter yoga was what Dr. Kataria started, but there are now laughter therapy groups. There's a laughter healing group. I mean, so there are several different facets of it happening, and I'm glad to see it. I don't think anyone's upset that people are taking laughter and making something else into it. I think that's great, because the more people that are laughing, the better the world is going to be. It makes a difference. It cuts tension. It reduces stress. And we all need that. Reduce stress. It just makes a difference. It's one of the tools I use in healing that I think it's one of my very valuable tools that I can pull out of my bag.
Ah, that's great.
I love that. So everybody, your instruction after this show is to go out and laugh and find more laughter and watch things that make you laugh.
Yeah, I think you ought to just take it as a little assignment from this show to go out and complete this statement. God must have a sense of humor because he blank.
Put the four of us together at 9 a.m. on a Wednesday?
Well, one of the classic ones is God must have a sense of humor, otherwise why would men have nipples?
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, that went south for me. Because we're on radio, you must know that I'm currently embracing myself.
The inner self.
Yeah, a little giggling hug on the inside.
And even if you don't feel like laughing, remember, all you have to do is go, ha ha, ho ho ho, ha ha, ho ho ho. Eventually you will laugh. And if you do it in a mirror watching yourself, that's even better.
Even if all you do is kind of shake your head and smile real big. Like, what are you doing? But it worked.
It worked.
It worked.
That's it.
If you find yourself silly, you're going to laugh at it.
Absolutely.
Stop taking yourself so seriously.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. It's so easy to get caught up in that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
You do something, make a funny face at yourself in the mirror once in a while, and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm still in there. Cool. That was easy.
Oh, we need more and more of that. That's definitely true.
So you do a lot of other things. You mentioned your tool bag.
Yes.
And I, having known you for the time that I have, I know that you have a lot of different tools.
Yes.
And I'm just going to go ahead and open the bag on the angels because that is a place where you excel beyond all others that I've experienced with your connection and your vision and your messages. So tell us a little bit about how that started to open up for you. What was that like at the beginning?
Well, I've always been able to see angels. I saw them as a child. When they appeared to me as a child, they looked like other children. So, I don't see angels, people with wings. And I still don't see people with wings. I mean, that's not how they show up to me. I see energy signatures and sometimes their colors. They have always been with me. And when I was a kid, I didn't know what I was supposed to do with that. And, being a kid, I didn't even know what that meant. So I just kind of, it was just a thing. I've heard people say, well, I realized that other people didn't see the way. I never paid any attention to what people could see or didn't see. It just didn't matter to me. They reacted to things that I did and said. And I remember distinctly a couple of times in, growing up that I was like, yeah, whatever, you guys. So I'm not doing that. And they would just, fold their hands and nod their heads and step back and just wait. And I'd see them and it was like, I don't care what you're waiting on. I don't care. And then eventually I had to say, okay, you were right.
Okay, human.
Yes.
Do as you will.
Silly human. Yes.
That darn free will inserts itself again.
Yes.
Did you stomp your foot too?
A couple of times.
I believe it.
A couple of times.
Well, you have to experience the defiance to get the lesson,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Especially at a young age, because when you start to change and get a little older and start questioning everything,
right.
I would imagine you'd push the boundaries, and they just laugh because you're eventually going to hit the boundary.
Yeah, eventually I'm going to turn completely around and throw my hands up and say, okay. Yeah, I still do that, Jason. I mean, this last summer, I was pumping gas. And I needed something out of the car, and it was the passenger side. And I thought, I could step over this. And I heard distinctly, Brenda, walk around the car. I said, oh, I think I can make it. Brenda, walk around the car. I think I can do this. Brenda, walk around the car. I stepped over. I didn't make it. And now, most of the time, they just laugh outright. But this time, they just kind of got quiet. They didn't laugh. I was so embarrassed because everybody at the gas station came over and picked me up. And, oh, yeah, it was just terrible.
They weren't actually saving you from falling. They were saving you from the production that happened as a result of the fall.
And then I had to call my sons and tell them. That's when they started laughing. Because, my oldest son was like, Mom, what are you thinking? And I was like, well, I wasn't thinking. That's the issue. And my youngest son was like, yeah, I've done that. I was like, okay, you are way too much like your mother.
Great, so he's not listening either.
Yeah.
But is this thing on? That's your angels.
Yes.
She can hear us, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Just checking the communication line.
So, and then, it still happens. It's littler things now. As I was younger and coming into and learning what I was supposed to do with my gifts, I've learned. I can remember things that, back before we had the internet, you had to open an encyclopedia, and I know that there are people listening who have no idea what that is.
That's the thing that kids sit on at dinner now because there's no more phones.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. That's good.
That's where your encyclopedias are.
Encyclopedias you get a whole set, and it was A to Z. And sometimes there were 26, sometimes there were less, and there were always extras, and they were really expensive, and everything you needed to know was supposed to be in these books. And I would go and look up, well, what do I do for this? And most of the stuff I was looking at wasn't in there. And then I would think, well, what do I need to do? Like I had there was a man who I didn't want around my kids. He made me feel funny. I thought he was paying too much attention to them, and he was friends with my husband, with their dad. And I said, I don't want him in my house anymore. And he used to come only when my husband wasn't home. That's when he would show up, and he would just barge his way in and say, I'll just wait. And then he would stare and watch me, and he wanted the kids to sit on his lap. And I said, you know what? I don't want this anymore. And I told my husband, I said, I don't want him in the house. I said, there's something wrong with him. He's possessed or something. I don't know what it is. Because I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. And my husband blew me off. And that was fine. I said, I have to do something. I have to protect my children. And I went in the kitchen and I said, salt. Now, why did I know that? I have no idea. And I know I heard it. I marked all the thresholds, all the windows, all the doors. I circled their beds, the cribs, and my bed. And the next time he came to the door, when he went to just walk over, he backed up. I was like, yes! He's not coming in here anymore. And then my husband went on a hike with him. And this guy used to be his sparring partner, karate, and had broken his wrist, had kicked him and broken his wrist. Now, whether that was on purpose or not, I don't know. And he didn't go to the doctor for several months, and so when he finally did, he ended up in a cast for like 6-9 months. I mean, it was a long time. And he was hiking and had the cast on. So he was having trouble negotiating. We lived in Boulder, so it was that, everything's almost a 45-degree angle up there when you're trying to hike. And he looked up, and what he saw was the man, top half, but his bottom half was hairy and had cloven hooves. And he came home and said, I understand what you mean. You'll never see him again. And so I don't know what happened. I never asked, but I never saw that person again. And he told me what he saw. Now, I don't know if he would remember that today because I've never broached the subject with him again. But it just, little things, I call that a little thing, happen throughout my life that I knew I was gifted and had the ability to do and know things, but really didn't know what I was supposed to do with that until the last few years.
But the fact that you honored the information and the message without really being concerned about where it came from. I think a lot of us miss that, like that message that you got to take care of all the thresholds, right? That was very clear. It was very protective, and you took action.
Yes.
You applied the knowledge that was given to you. You heard the message and used it.
Yeah.
I think that's a key to get to opening ourselves up to more of that. So good for you for the reaction, really.
You kept going. A lot of people would hear it and ignore it. Oh, that's, there's nothing there, and then they move through it, and then later they're like, ooh, I should have listened. I should have heard it. I should have understood that was my warning signal. And a lot of us put it off and put it off and put it off until finally at some point something happens that we're like, okay, I can't ignore it anymore. There's something to this. So kudos.
Well, and the other takeaway is if you're in karate class and get kicked by a cloven hoof, it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a clear message, Dave. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, if those guys in karate class have furry legs, no, time to find another karate school. Go to a different dojo. Well, we're at a good breaking point. We need to take a little time out for a quick little commercial break, and we'll be right back. So thank you for listening, and stay tuned.
Musician, author, and artist David Young will be appearing in Colorado for 4 special events, April 11th through 14th of 2019. Thursday, April 11th, A Portal Between Heaven and Earth concert and meditation presented at the Wheat Ridge Rec Center in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, starting at 7 p.m. It's only $30 pre-sale, $35 at the door. Friday, April 12th, 7 p.m., The True Story of Jesus and His Wife Mary Magdalena, based on the book that David just released by the same title. He'll be holding that at Journeys for Conscious Living in Arvada, Colorado, 7 p.m. Prices are the same. Saturday, April 13th, he'll appear at 6 p.m. for A Portal Between Heaven and Earth concert and meditation at Unity Church and Spiritual Center in Denver on University Boulevard. And then Sunday, a special engagement at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts in Littleton, Colorado, will be a double event. It's an evening with David Young, and he will present portions of both of his events that he'll be doing on the other evenings. That'll be starting at 5 p.m., and prices are the same, but seating is limited. Each of these events can be found on Eventbrite by searching David Young in the Denver area. Be sure to check out the pre-sale because these will sell out in some cases. Also, on Friday and Saturday, if you would like a one-on-one session with David, he is offering $50 readings. They will be 20 minutes long. There will be some in the north part of Denver on Friday, and then in Littleton on Saturday. You can reach out to Jason Antalek at 720-434-8479 to book those time slots. We'll see you at the David Young events, April 11th through 14th of 2019.
Well, welcome back to DYSG Live. We're with Brenda Hardwick, and we're going to continue our discussions. This has been very fascinating about all the angelic work you do.
Well, thank you. I continue to be amazed by the things that they point me in the direction of doing. And it also amazes me how they don't tell me what I'm walking into all the time. My angels, I've got angels, and I've got some animal guides. I've got a dragon that hangs out with me, and he's very loud and arrogant. And I was going to do a trade with a person, and I did my half of the trade yesterday, and it was way more intense than I ever expected it would be. And I pulled, like I said, my tool bag. I pulled things out that I had not used during a healing before. Always been in there, never had a reason. And when I finished and when it was all over, I sat back and said, y'all could have given me a warning. And I just heard laughter. It's like they don't always give me a warning about what I'm in for, because I'm still human, and they don't want to cause any fear because that would get in the way. And the way things happen, I just reacted and did what needed to be done. So I have trained with Seraphic Wisdom. I'm a Seraphic Wisdom practitioner, and I'm also a Seraphic Wisdom teacher. So there are 2 courses that I teach, Love and Faith and The Birth of the New Avalon, Canada, the Land of Dreams is Awakening. Yes, I know, long title, but all the words are important. These 2 classes are attunements. The Love and Faith is 22 attunements, and the second class is 45 attunements, and the person leaves with the connection to the seraphic energy, the angel energy, to help themselves, others, and the earth, Mother Earth, Gaia. I got introduced by sheer synchronicity to these classes. I had never heard of my teacher, Lizanne Fisher. Never heard of her, never met her. I saw the advertisement for her class, and I knew I had to take it for the Love and Faith. I just knew I had to take it. The first time I took that class, she always says, if you are interested in being a teacher, let me know. And I distinctly remember saying, I'm not taking this for anybody else, this is for me. And my posse back here, my angel said, oh, okay, and folded their hands and stepped back and just kind of, they were like whistling and you're gonna do it just for yourself. Yeah, okay, sure. I had given myself to the Creator that year. I said, you point me in the direction you want me to go, because I'm just hitting and missing here on what I'm doing and the training that I'm attending, and I'm learning a lot, but I'm not sure where you want me to focus. And that was the first push. About a year in, I actually had never been to a session where the waves were sent. I'd sent them, and I've used the energy on myself, but had never been a petitioner in the audience just to receive. And I had the opportunity to do that. And it was very funny that night because Lizanne she was losing her voice, and she said, oh, you might have to do this for me. And I was like, oh no, I need you to do this. And I found a cough drop in my purse, and I handed it to her, and she was able to do the class. I was like, thank you. Because I know they made, there was more on that cough drop than just what was in it. When she sent the wave of love and healing, I sat in the front row, and when she sent the wave, I felt it. It was palpable. In fact, if there had been no back to the chair, I know I'd have fallen on the floor. And I thought, whoa, that's so cool. Is that what people feel when I do that? That is so cool. And then she said, like she always does, if anyone's interested in becoming a teacher, let me know. And I distinctly felt like someone's 4 fingers hit me in the back between the shoulder blades. And I turned around, and the whole row was empty. Oh, okay. So this you want me to do that? And when I went and spoke with her, she got excited, and the person who's the head practitioner in charge, I don't know, we have a joke as far as what her title is.
The HPIC.
Yes. I know. But she was excited, and I went through the coursework, and it went very fast. The Seraphim accepted me, and at one point it seemed to be moving so fast, it felt like pieces were being, I was on a fast track. And I sat and I said, are you pushing this? Are you pushing me through this fast because you need something from me? You need me to be? And all I got was yes, and it was resounding. And I didn't ask any more questions because the way they said it so strong, I was like, I don't think I want to know why. I don't know that they would tell me anyway, but I just didn't think I wanted to know. I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I know that my work with the angels is the foundation of the healing that I do. And everybody has angels, and it's amazing to me how many people don't know that.
So what is the seraphim? For people that don't know,
Okay.
It's a great question. I know I've been through Liz Ann's class. I've taken all of them. Jason's been through all of them or some of them.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah, so we've experienced what you're talking about. But what is the seraphim for those listening that might not know? Because they're different angels.
They are different angels. There are 9 choirs of angels. So if you put it into a people org chart, there are 9 boxes, 3 on each level. The 3 at the bottom are the closest to us, and that's where our guardians and the archangels are, because they're the ones that deal with us the most. The ones in the middle have a different set of duties, and then the ones at the top, those that are closest to the Creator, seraphim, are the ones at the top. Okay, they praise continuously. They lean in to hear the Creator's voice, and in the ecstasy of hearing, they burn up and fall in ash, and they come together and rise again to praise again. I personally think that's where the story of the Phoenix came from, but I can't find anything to corroborate that, and they won't tell me. They won't say yay or nay. They just kind of say, well, maybe. The seraphim typically have had historically have had little contact with us humans down here, because the guardians and the archangels take care of that, but they've taken more of an interest in what we're doing down here because of what we're doing down here. And the attunements and the training came in and was channeled in 2012, and that's when the first practitioners were trained. It started with 1 practitioner here in the United States and has spread now to my guess is we're pushing 100. In the very beginning, the waves took the attunements took between 1 and 10 minutes a piece. The waves would take between 1 and 5 to 7 minutes for them to send and reach their completion. And because of the number of practitioners there are now, it does not take that long. Most waves are now a minute, if that long. Some of them are 2 minutes, depending on the intensity of what's being asked.
So what is a wave? For people that want to understand, what's a wave? What do you mean by wave?
So there's, in the Love and Faith class, there are 6 attunements for being able to send waves. There's love and healing, there's love and faith, there's faith and manifestation. There are 6 of them. And the way I send them is when the angels will tell me which one is needed for the group. There's a group whether I'm in front of or on the internet, whatever, or a one-on-one, they will tell me what is needed. I don't ever make that decision on my own because I'm just human. I can guess. I don't want to do that. So they will tell me what's needed. The one that is sent most often is love and healing, because everyone needs healing of some kind in some form. You ask the seraphim to come in, and they push. It's a wave of seraphic energy that goes to the people. It's where it's directed. Or to myself. I've sent them to myself also, which is really nice because, healers tend to forget ourselves. So when I remember to do it for me, it's awesome. The waves are very powerful, and they work. They make a difference. We have a practitioner circle once a month where as many of us get together as possible, both on the phone and in person, and each one of us makes requests, and then we send the waves as a group. So it's several of us sending them forward, and they are so powerful. They're very fast, but they are very powerful. And sometimes the practitioner that's sending, or practitioners, will see or hear things that we can also provide towards the healing or towards the help that the person that's receiving the wave is getting. It's amazing to me. I mean, it's a wave of energy. It's a wave of energy that has intent. And
having been somebody that's received and experienced that in multiple settings, the way I would describe it is very much like if you were standing in the ocean, right, and a wave comes along, and it's not the kind of wave that hits you and knocks you over, right? You know that it's coming, but it's gentle.
Yes.
It's kind of more like the wave that doesn't crash.
Yes.
Right? It's that wave that rises up and you feel the energy move through your body, and then it passes.
Yes.
Right? And then you kind of feel it come back a little bit too. Right? It has that it comes through you, and then it kind of goes back through you again at a different level.
That's like a wave, like a wave in the ocean would do.
Right.
Yes, very much.
But not the like
No,
it is
not
not the tsunami of healing.
You know.
It's a gentle wave. It's a gentle, very powerful wave.
Yes.
Right, and it washes over each person kind of in the way that they need it.
Yes.
Right. I've had the same wave hit me different ways, you know, in different places, in different settings, or different times that I've experienced it.
Yeah.
And like you said, sometimes it's really fast and it just washes through, and then there's other times where it kind of just sort of wades through you.
Yes.
And it's really at an energetic, spiritual, emotional level. Yes. Some people do experience it physically, like you've shared, and when you are in tune with it, it's pretty easy for that to happen. But it's really it's subtle in some ways too.
Yeah.
Even while it's very powerful and it does ring very deep, it can be very subtle on the surface.
Yes.
Right. And one other thing is that it has lasting effects.
Yes.
Like it hangs out for a while.
Yes.
Like the way that it seeps into your energy field, it takes time for that to kind of process and integrate.
Absolutely.
So it works for extended period. There's been a couple of times where days after I was still feeling the effects
Yes.
of a session. So it's definitely worth experiencing. It's a fun class. It's a great opportunity to receive healing in a different way. Right, that comes from a very clear source.
Yes,
it's powerful stuff for sure.
It's a great tool to be able to utilize.
Yes,
for those of us like myself too that works with angels a lot, I was very drawn to the angelic. Anything angelic pulls me in. I need to know more about it.
Yes.
And so that was definitely a program that I got pulled into, and I love to have that as a tool. I do utilize it. So
the seraphim energy is just, it's very it's warm and it's inviting and it's very calming. There are tools that are given the practitioner in the Birth of the New Avalon, Canada, the Land of Dreams is Awakening. There are tools that are given in that class that I use all the time. There's a golden cocoon of healing. I will put that on before I go to bed when I'm, if I'm beginning to feel sick or something, or the scratchy throat. And in the morning, I'll wake up and I feel better because it's got all night when I'm not fighting and I'm not being exposed to anything else to work. And it just, it makes a difference. And I love the energy. The other tools I have, I'm a shamanic Reiki master. And so, I've had people say, so you do Reiki? And I said, well, it depends. I've got, there are several other modalities that I have, and the health coaching, and it depends on what the person needs. And when a person is coming to see me for a healing session, I check in with their angels before they get there, and I ask them, what do I need? And they'll tell me, you need these crystals, you need the singing bowl, you need selenite, make sure you do this, and you're going to use these symbols from the pyramid, Seraphic Pyramid Rose system. And so when the person shows up, I make sure I bring all those things with me, or that I have them present. And then when the person shows up, in the first 10 minutes of discussion, I find out, oh, that's why I need that, that's why I need that, that's why I need that. So I'm not guessing. The angels are telling me what this person needs. And I'll also see that there are other issues that need to be addressed But, you know, it's one at a time. It's like peeling an onion. You can't, when a person comes to me, I know I can't cure everything all at once. I can't fix it all. I can't help them find their cure. I can't help them find their light all at once. Because most of us that don't realize we have a light to shine have stuck it in a closet somewhere and don't remember where we put it. So I have to first help them remember where they put it. Then we work on finding it so they can shine it. And it is a process. And people tend to think with any kind of healing that it needs to be one and done. And it's never like that, because we are more complicated than that.
Does everybody have angels?
Everybody has angels.
I had to ask that.
Everybody has angels. Yes.
Even Tom?
Yes. Stop it. Your angels are pointing fingers at you. You know. Okay. That's so funny. Yes, everyone has angels. Even people that say they don't believe, or they're agnostic or atheist, or whatever they claim as far as their belief systems, they still have angels. If you look in any religion, I don't care what religion, angels are referenced. They may call them something different, but the translation is angels. They exist everywhere. That's because everybody's all connected to the Creator. Everybody. And that's where that comes from. People ask me, well, I pray to God and Jesus. Yeah, you do. I never say pray to angels. I said talk to them. You pray to the Creator, or your ascended master that you connect with, whether it's Jesus, Yogananda, Kuan Lee, Muhammad, that you pray to them. The angels you just talk to. And people think that, I can't have any angels because I don't believe. And I said, well, they believe in you. And so they're there, and what they do is wait. And most angels just wait. They stand and wait, hands folded, and they wait. That's what they do, because we have free will. And if we insist that we are going to push through and do it all by ourselves, doggone it, I'm going to get this done, they have to let us, even though they really think we're funny for doing that, because there's always a less complicated way,
an easier way to do it.
way.
Do you want to take the long road or the short road?
Yes.
I always tell people, which road do you want to take? You're going to get to the same destination, but are you going to do it the short way or the long way?
Yes.
And they'll let you take the long way.
Yeah. They have to. If that's what you insist on, they have to. And then when you get to your destination and you realize, darn, I could have gone that way, they just laugh, because we are very amusing in how we are so intent on making things difficult.
Because we are their funny cat videos.
Yes, we are.
We are their, unbeknownst to ourselves, we are their laughter yoga instructors.
Yes. But they take great joy in us being happy and us laughing and us having joy. That's where they want us to be, and they take joy in us getting to that point.
I saw one time like this big theater seats above, and all the beings, light beings, sitting up there watching like we're the entertainment movie going,
Yes.
really? Right? What are they doing?
Doing that? Yes.
It's a really nice loft apartment over a huge park.
Yes. Oh, look, there she goes again.
Now, when I work with clearing clients and I talk to them at the end about how do you stay clear of this, I said one of the things is call on the angels. I said they're like the Maytag man. They're waiting for the call.
Yes, they're waiting for the call.
They cannot interfere unless they're asked.
Yes.
So they can't preemptively take care of your life and fix your problems.
Yes. And it's why so many people, all of the miracle stories we hear about someone, the angel that comes into their rescue is all in dire straits, because that's the only time we let go and surrender and say, please help. And of course, they move in and they do the best they can with whatever the situation is. But doggone it, why do we always wait till it's dire straits?
And when the cake is burning in the oven, it's too late to pull it out.
Yeah. And they'll do the best they can, but if you'd have called me 2 days ago, we could have avoided this whole thing. Yeah, but we are human, and they know that, and hallelujah, they love us anyway.
They do love us. I have some pretty powerful ones that stay with me almost all the time. What I call very powerful. My master teachers, a lot of them are angels, and so I allow them to teach me. I've given them permission to lead and be my master teachers, and what a powerful walk.
Absolutely.
You bring them in and allow them to be, and people notice that are very sensitive to energy. I was in class last weekend and they're like, Metatron's standing beside you, and I'm like, yep, of course he is. He's always here. And a lot of people hadn't experienced that energy, so it was their opportunity to get a little bit of exposure to those strong energies when they come in and they're with us.
So when I work with other healers, because healers have to go to healers, because when you try to work on yourself, you get in the way. Quite often they will tell me that Adalian's here with me, and he hangs out. Yeah, I know, that's no surprise, but I've had many other healers tell me that Adalian's, and they know who he is, when he shows. So I find that interesting too, which means he's telling them. But they're with me all the time. Other people's angels, they don't speak to me unless I give them permission, and they get permission when the person sits in front of me and wants to hear. Otherwise, in the very beginning, I would be walking down the street going to work, and they would say, tell him this, tell her that, tell him this. And I was like, okay, I will be nuts in a month. Y'all can't do that. So when I have permission, then you can speak. And so that's the way you have to moderate, because
that's also a high level of integrity. Those of us that have gifts and are sensitive, I'm really an advocate that we shouldn't go up to people and strangers and give messages and step into their space. We shouldn't be reading people unless we have permission.
Exactly.
We should hold that high integrity.
Exactly.
And we should hold our guides and those supporting us to that same level. They haven't given us permission.
No. And they forget we're human. They forget, especially when you are connected with them, and they're yours, and they know what the work that you're doing. They get excited, so they forget that we're human, and we have to remind them sometimes.
Well, when I get in those kind of situations, especially when first awakening, you get a lot of messages. You start to open up to things, and you want to help people and share. And what I found works for me, and maybe this works for other people too, is to ask yourself the 3 questions. Does this need to be said? Does this need to be said by me? And does this need to be said by me right now? And that stage of questioning will filter out whether or not it's an appropriate time, setting, place, opportunity to follow through with that. And it's kind of like driving a car, right? You go through the steps initially. Just getting in the car and getting it started is a number of steps, but after a few times of working with that, it shrinks down. So now when I check in, I get those 3 answers very quickly. Right? But at first you got to kind of build up and ask the questions, and then they sort of condense, and you get that answer for you and what that feels like. But I think that's kept me out of a lot of conversations that would have been inappropriate. And does it mean that that you approach somebody and you're giving them bad information? No. But when you infringe on someone else's free will and their experience, you really don't know what you're inserting into their life. And that message may be as much for you as it is for somebody else. And a lot of times we skip past that because we want to help.
Right.
I mean, our intentions are good. It's just not always appropriate. Right.
Sometimes people are not ready to hear everything they need to hear. It's one step at a time. It's like, like I said, like that onion. You have to meet people where they are. And that can be very frustrating when you hear everything and you know what they need to hear, but you also know, not today. It makes it, it keeps you in check, and so that you don't cross boundaries that you shouldn't. It also helps you know and learn when a person is ready, and then things flow. So we're still human. we still don't always do everything.
What? Fallible?
Right? Yes.
What?
Yes.
Oh, man.
We trip over gas hoses.
No matter how many times we're told to go
Yes.
around.
It still happens.
Well, maybe all the other people needed to help someone that day.
Yeah, and that's possible. Yes. Much to my
the,
embarrassment.
Maybe the question is, should I listen? Should I listen right now?
And then should I do what they say?
Yes. Yes, you should do as we say.
Well, some people are shocked with the reality of what you can bring through, even when you get permission.
Yes.
Several years ago, I was getting a haircut at Great Clips or something. I had a cute young thing doing my haircut, and she goes, "Well, what do you do?" Make the standard conversation. I said, "Well, I'm an aerospace engineer, but I'm also a professional psychic." She goes, "Oh, really? Well, what do you see for me and my boyfriend?" And right there, a voice yelled in my head, get out now. It's a matter of physical safety."
Oh, wow.
And I asked her, I said, "I got a pretty strong message. Are you sure you want to hear it?" She goes, "Well, yeah, I think so." And I said, "You need to get out. You need to get out now." It was a pretty quiet haircut, the rest of the time.
Yeah.
But I did give her the choice, and because I knew that it was going to be life-changing for her.
Yeah.
So I had to give her the option, and she decided she wanted to hear the message, what I got.
Yeah.
So
That's a really good point, Dave.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even when you get the yes, to give the person the opportunity to to give you that permission as
Yes.
well. That's I think I just added a fourth question. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, well, we still are growing and learning as we go. Because, like I said, we're still human. And, in my beginning to do this, starting with reading tarot and then realizing that I wasn't reading the cards, I was hearing their angels, I had a session that I learned that if I can't talk to their angels, I'm not supposed to talk to them about anything. And that was a really hard lesson. And I learned that. I ended up sending the lady her money back. It was at a fair. And because I couldn't hear her angels. They were on the computer when you want to hit a button and it says you can't, it's gray until you finish filling out the form.
Yes.
The angels were like that. And they had wings and they were folded over their mouths and they were gray. And I was like, well, I'm just going to read anyway. And it was not. I was taught, no, you should have sent her away. And so now, if I can't talk to someone's angels, I just tell them, I'm not the person that's supposed to work with you today.
Yeah.
Because it's not everybody.
Very good. Well, I think we're about ready to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Brenda, for being our guest today. This has been fascinating, a lot of good information for a lot of people out there.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed this.
I hope they follow up on their inclinations to maybe pursue this. This is great stuff.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone out there for listening to us today. We're going to have some highlights from some of our other practitioners here, so please stay tuned for that. That's just a few minutes, and we'll join you again soon. Take care and have a great week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Kemper. I am a restoration master healer. I work through people's energy grid as I see it. I call it grid working. And I also work with Mother Gaia and the ley lines of the earth, but I also see that and can translate it around somebody's energy body. I got into this through working with another teacher that was showing us to look around a body or an energy body, and I realized that I could see colors. And so when I pinpointed the color, Then she made me trace it all the way back. She said, you have to trace it all the way back to the origin. And once I did that, I realized that I could see around people in what looks like an Excel grid sheet. And we get things stuck in that grid sheet, or we get formulas that are blown. And I help people restore those grids through different energies. It could be dragon energy, archangel energy, colors, flowers, all sorts of, everybody works with something different, and I help bring those through to restore your grids. You can find me at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts in historic downtown Littleton. I work at this center on Wednesdays and Thursdays between 10 and 5.
My name is Selena from Love Your Light. I knew I was special when I was a little girl. I used to walk around the house whenever family members were hurting or a sick pet, and I would put my hands on them to make them feel better. Obviously, I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I just always had the drive, the interest to want to help people feel better. And I also, when I was a child, started knowing when people were sick and knowing when they were going to pass, knowing immediately babies, boys, girls, twins, other, and it just grew from there. My mom was also an intuitive, so was my grandma, so I was in that environment. It just developed and grew the older I got. I am blessed to have a number of gifts. I am an intuitive guide. I teach Reiki, and I'm a mentor. I help people discover their gifts and abilities. I do intuitive counseling. I do energy clearings, personal energy clearings, and space energy clearings. I basically just want to help people see their light and love their light. I am at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts on Thursdays. I'm here full day as a practitioner, so I have morning, afternoon, and evening appointments. I'm also a reader Thursdays.
Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Join us for our show on Blog Talk Radio.